Good morning,
Good afternoon.
good evening, wherever you are on our glorious planet. I'm Ariel.
I'm Cheyenne.
Welcome to being here.
Yes,
Today's episode.
it's called Beauty is Everywhere. And here this morning, and so many of our flowering plants are in bloom. It really is beautiful everywhere you look. It's green and trees. But you can find beauty anywhere you look if you use your eyes.
Hmm.
Your thoughts tend to find fault with things, but if you just look, it brings you into an amazing world.
And I know that there may be people who listen to this show whose vision is impaired. But even if your vision isn't impaired, if you close your eyes and listen, it's beautiful. There is beauty in the world if you're here to experience it.
Mm,
So today, let's play with experiencing. And that requires including your thinking, but not getting lost there.
yes.
Listening is a very interesting event. I had some friends over yesterday, and it's been a while since we've had people here. And we were talking about something. One of the individuals wanted to know if we were going back to in-person events because that was their preference. And I said, no, we are not. It's too exclusive. I'm enjoying on any given seminar to be able to suddenly have Hong Kong and Australia and Canada and across the US and Europe and the UK. And this individual stopped listening because it wasn't the
Wow.
answer
That
he or
they
she
want.
was hoping for.
Yep.
You will stop listening if what you're hoping for, what
Doesn't
your agenda
manifest.
doesn't manifest.
Right.
But with awareness, you become aware of your agendas so that you can set them aside and be here.
And if you become aware of something, awareness is a non-judgmental seeing of what is. So if you become aware of an agenda you have, if you see it, it's over. Unless you resist it, and then you keep it. But I want to go back to listening.
Okay.
Listening is about allowing what somebody says to come into you without filtering it through what you already believe to be true.
And a lot of you listen to our show regularly. And so we talk about listening, and we often formulate sentences at least somewhat similarly. So it's likely that you run ahead to finish Cheyenne's sentences in that case with how you expect him to say it. And I really enjoy when you talk about listening.
Because it's new?
Yes, I love to stop and listen to it and watch you and listen to what you have to say. I allow it to strike me in this moment.
I was thinking about how we talk about listening because listening, well, the second principle of instantaneous transformation is no two things can occupy the same space at the same time. So if you are truly listening, you're not lost in your thoughts. So when you truly listen, you're listening, not thinking about something else or how it relates. See, we're not going anywhere. We're operating in this moment of our lives as though this is all there is, not planning to get somewhere for the future, not trying to be a better us someday by doing our lives better, but by being here. And we've discovered that if you truly listen, rather than agree or disagree, rather than think you already know what's being said, you'll get pulled into the current moment of your life through your eyes and ears.
When we say beauty is everywhere, of course, it's generally easier to see it in nature, but you may be missing whole swaths of possibility for beauty. One of the things that I've noticed is that how I touch things can be beautiful. Like if you hold on to even, like I picked up a bottle here that has, I'm going to open it near you guys. That was we make seltzer at home.
Soda water.
And so it has a sound to it, which I kind of find beautiful. But I can slam around my possessions, or I can touch them with awareness and with beauty in my heart, so to speak.
Well, I see it when we go to a store like Costco, where the person behind the checkout counter, when they take your bag full of avocados
and fling it
and throw it into the shopping cart, throw it back into the shopping cart, or they place it back in the shopping cart. One is, when I watch them throw it back in, I have the thought, this person is very hard on themselves, because you don't treat anything in your reality harshly if you don't treat yourself harshly.
And it doesn't get it done any faster to fling it.
Actually, slowing down gets more accomplished than speeding up, even though we think it's the opposite. But when we're speedy, we frequently make mistakes that take a lot more time to correct than if we just slow down and do it right the first time.
We have a guest.
Actually, do it right. Is wrong. Do it the first time.
Well, actually, be where you are while you're doing what you're doing. Oh, we got.
We finished the other sentence.
We do.
And so sometimes we over talk.
But before we take our first guest, speaking of beauty, we had a dish drainer that we'd had for over 20 years, and it had gotten pretty weathered, and then a piece of it broke. So I went out and got us a new dish drainer, and I researched them, oddly enough, but I did. And I found one that I really liked, but I wanted to see it in person. So I went and found a place that actually sold it in a brick and mortar store. I got it out of the box. I looked at it. I purchased it. I brought it home. And it has a place for our little espresso cups in the front. And I'm having so much fun when we wash them to dry them beautifully. So that when I hang it on its little peg, so to speak, its little area where you can set it over, that I'm taking the handles and I'm putting them in the same order as if I was in a great restaurant and setting a table for people to go in. It gives me so much pleasure to walk into the kitchen and see, for instance, our espresso cups lined up beautifully while they dry.
Well, what's really interesting to me is we're doing a seminar called Transformational Time.
And this will air after that. It's going to even air after our relationships course, but that's okay.
But that I'm looking around, I'm seeing how our house has gotten organized. The cabinets that we've had in our kitchen that somebody built for us for 20 years, they or over the last 20 years, the hinges have gotten loose and things have rearranged. The doors hang not quite right. Well, we had the person who built the cabinets here and they rehung it. So everything is just very orderly and clean and crisp. And it hasn't been that we've made a project to clean the house. It's just that we've been looking and seeing what's needed and we produce it.
It's the beauty of transformation.
Yep.
And speaking of beauty being everywhere, let's take our first guest.
Absolutely.
She's been very patient with us. Where are you? There
Hi.
you go.
Hi.
I'm Andrea, and I'm calling in from Groveland, California. Thank you for
say where in California, as you said it really fast.
Yeah, where in California?
Groveland, California. It's Northern
Groveland.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Groveland, or I wonder if they once had
orange groves.
Orange groves there.
I don't know. It seems like it's a little too far north, but I have seen them growing close to here, like 40 minutes away. Yeah. Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
What a lovely name. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
What can we do for you?
That's a good question. So much came up when you were introducing today's question. I'd say my question coming onto the show was twofold. How I get frustrated when things don't show up the way I want or aren't as beautiful as I want it to be. And an example of that is I have two. With my business, I run a business, and there are things that aren't quite done yet. Like I don't have, I work with a lot of postpartum moms, and I want to have a package that I can give them when they give birth. And I just dropped off a package during the week to a new mom, and I felt like it wasn't packaged beautifully. It was all the items that the mom needed, but wasn't packaged beautifully. And I started thinking, well, how can I do that better? And then my second question is I homeschool, and there are so many times when it's less than beautiful, like where we just don't want
let's talk about your judgment system.
Yes.
First of all, this is maybe an odd reeling back, but this is my first impression. You underestimate your presence. That the most beautiful thing of all is your presence, Andrea. And so whilst the package of goodies that you are presenting to postpartum moms are an expression of your heart and something that you really want to do and is evolving so that your packaging will get prettier, more to your liking. The most beautiful aspect of the gift is you. And
well, that's really a problem if you don't see yourself as beautiful, as you see yourself as less than, or not enough, or need more work, or somehow a project in process, rather than realize that you are already whole and full and complete in this moment, and you're perfect the way you are. See, if your thoughts pick you apart, then beauty is hard to see.
Yeah.
Because then beauty is in a very narrow path. You've got a very narrow window that you're looking through. But if you start to realize how successful you already are. See, you talk about homeschooling. Homeschooling is a moment-to-moment thing. If you're there with your kid, that child will really learn just out of your being with them. But if you're trying to get them to learn a lesson and you have a specific outcome, well, then there's the possibility of failure if the outcome isn't accomplished. But if the outcome is just to be there with that child and discover with them the beauty of life in this moment, well, then it's a win, no matter what they learn.
There's a chapter in the last book we produced, Being Here Too, written by a lovely teacher named Zoe, who had a student who really was not understanding how to divide larger numbers into small, like 3 from 1 is -2. And she couldn't get the child to understand negative numbers. And she kept trying to explain it different ways until she came up with a creative solution that she intuitively caught, that was so beautiful that the girl ended up feeling smart.
Mm.
But it wasn't about getting her to learn a lesson. It was about being with her and watching that click that happened when the gal caught the notion. And it was an interesting thing to see how she could either step into frustration or she could keep stepping forward and watching her face and seeing what it might take to have this child catch a concept. But it required not being hard on herself for being a crappy teacher. Because when she didn't get it, it's like, oh, it's about me. It suddenly became about her. She had to keep stepping away from having her attention on herself and keep bringing it out.
I like that. Yeah. I can see how I go back and I'm hard on myself when I'm trying to help.
I think you can just
Well,
stop right
no,
there.
no, you see, you're hard on yourself everywhere. Right. You're hard on yourself about your packaging for a package for postpartum moms. You're hard on yourself whether your kid learns the lesson the way you think they ought to.
The hard on yourself perspective, if you look, you'll see it played out everywhere. It's just how the mental structure is. I saw it for myself yesterday. The flowers are in bloom. It's exquisitely green. We have birds in abundance. Friends are finally able to come over without masks. And I was sitting outside with one of our friends, and she kept saying, wow, it's so beautiful here. It's so lush. And I kept seeing the dandelions. I kept seeing the weeds in the garden, the things I hadn't, quote, gotten to yet. And it was really important for me to register that I had the but I have a dandelion stem growing out in with my irises. I have dandelions in the lawn. It's not due to be mowed by the service until Monday. It's a little ragged. That I wanted to take exception to what she had to say so as not to receive the full impact of her appreciation for me and for the environment in which I live. So it was really important to recognize I have that automatic thing that wants to shunt aside input, recognize I have it, include that I have it, and then really listen to her. Because it really, if she could say, I appreciate you, or I appreciate being with you. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not doing my best. I'm actually taking away from her. If I hear her say, in effect, I appreciate you, and say, thank you, then she feels well. And somewhere in there, you're always have on tap the but it didn't package it well. They're like, thank you for bringing these items for me. That's great. Yeah, but it's not very pretty packaging yet. I'll get there.
Well, you said it. I'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
As if this isn't it.
As opposed to you are there. You're already there.
Mm. Yeah.
It's funny. As I'm talking to her, I'm watching her, but you're not actually saying anything. I know this is audio for everybody else. You get a little deer in the headlights.
I feel that. Well, and I noticed it in my thoughts too. I mean, they're still there.
But see, here's the thing. You have thoughts. You're not your thoughts. You're the one who listens to those thoughts. But you misidentify the thought as you.
Mm. But you just
so then you can never be enough.
You said something very revealing. You said, yeah, but my thoughts are still there. Of course they are. You have your thoughts have the expectation
But
that
the
your thoughts will
stop.
leave.
Yes.
They're always going to be there. But
Your mind is a thought generating machine. It's a nervous thought generating machine. Why I say nervous, it's constantly looking for danger, for things to go wrong. That's its purpose.
And things to do to ensure its survival. I got to package this better, or I won't have any clients in the future.
Right. Exactly.
And it makes up lies like, I have to package this better, it won't be good enough.
Mm.
You can package it better just because it gives you pleasure.
Right.
Well, that would be a good thing.
What? Do
things that you get pleasure doing.
If you get pleasure homeschooling your child
will learn.
If you have the agenda to produce a better baby, a better child, that then he will rebel.
Right. Yeah. I noticed that in myself. Yeah. A lot. I think it comes from that, the incompleteness, I think, with my parents.
Well, why are you incomplete with your parents? Why don't you just grow up?
That's all right. Did I grow up?
Yeah, but that's a little...
But you see, here's the thing. I'm not kidding when I say that. You're still blaming your parents for what they did or didn't do from the point of view that their behavior affected who you are.
Mm. Mm.
That's a rather acceptable psychological point of view that exists in our world. But the reality is, if you want to be happy, you have to be willing to be responsible for your life. And because your parents told you things not to do and you did them anyway.
Right.
My friend Jill and I used to ride our bicycles down to Rexall drugstore, buy sweet tarts, like these big candy things, Twizzlers, or like Red Vines, which was red licorice. We'd buy a whole bunch of things and would hide them in this drawer in my bedroom. Would ride our bikes back, and then would stay up all night eating candy. And, they would say, brush your teeth. Well, okay, I could do that. But if I stay up all night eating candy, it certainly defeats the purpose of brushing your teeth. Kids raise themselves in addition to all of the best intentions of our parents. And your kids will find things to take exception with you. It's just what kids do.
Mm-hmm.
So you may as well do things that give.
Might as well enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
Might as well go on the roller coaster ride of life as though it's your idea, rather than be the victim of having to go down that slide or up that hill.
The main thing, Andrea, is when you put on your glasses to look through, the glasses of I need improvement, I'm a project, then everything you see is through the lens of needs improvement. If you enjoy yourself in this moment, beauty is everywhere. And interestingly enough, as you access this moment, you learn things, misconceptions that you may have had about your parents fall away. You suddenly come up with creative ideas on how to do different projects.
Well,
it's effortless.
There's another thing, and that's how perfect you are. And that's because you came from perfect parents who did it perfectly. Now, you may have thoughts that disagree with that, but your thoughts are just thoughts, not reality. You could have fun with your kid. You have 2 children? Mm-hmm. You could have fun with your kids, and they'll learn.
By the way, you just nod and go, people can't hear you. They're not going to see you. You need to.
Got it. Yeah.
speaking. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, if you had fun with your children, they'll be fine. If you get serious with them, they're not going to be so fine. Nothing is worth losing your state over. Nothing is worth getting upset over.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Hey, you want to hear about transformation?
Mm-hmm.
We've got one of our listeners about to tell you about what's happened in their life out of listening to being here.
Hi, this is Sandy from Munich in Germany. I love being a part of this community. Just joining in on the video seminars on Saturdays or on Tuesday evenings, sometimes even late at night on Mondays, is an opportunity to connect with people that are like-minded, that just are open, that reflect love. I mean, every time after I get off of one of these video seminars, I feel like my heart is expanded and that my world is just a tad bit bigger than it was before. And yeah, I love it.
Do you want to have well-being with consistency? Connect with people all over the world from the comfort of your own home at Ariel and Shire's lively interactive Living Made Easy virtual seminars. Join any of their 2-hour online events or take a deep dive into the magic of being you at a virtual weekend seminar. Come on, let's connect. Find out more and register at transformationmadeeasy.com.
In August, on the 7th and 8th, is our next weekend seminar, and it is so much fun. Creativity and intuition. If you want life to be easy, creative, effortless, join us for that weekend. You can find out all the details at transformationmadeeasy.com. And every year that we do this particular seminar, people always tell us it's
Their favorite.
their favorite. So feel free to join us should you wish. Should we take our next, speaking of beauty, our next guest?
Caller, yes.
Yes, Christiana. Hi.
Hello, hi. Hi, this is Christiane. I'm calling in from Germany, from Hamburg.
Well, welcome to being here.
Yes.
So, it was so much fun listening to you three talking. And and the things I would like to share with you are such a perfect example for being in my thoughts. So I go to work on my bike every morning, and sometimes I take another route to go because the old one is boring and I would like to see other things. So I don't know, a week ago or something, I took the route along a little lake. It's a park and there is water. And I passed the lake, and at the end of the lake, I saw a water lily. And it was like, wow, only one water lily in the big lake can't be. So I stopped riding my bike. I got off the bike and looked back, and I saw the whole lake was full of water lilies. So I passed the lake without even noticing the beauty around me. And then I in my thoughts, I thought, well, what was going on? And then I realized that I was thinking about I should be more ahead at this time. I should earn more money. What is my life's purpose? And all these thoughts were in my mind without even noticing that the beauty is right next to me.
Well, you know, Christiana, the second principle of instantaneous transformation says that no two things can occupy the
Yeah,
same Christiana at the same time.
yeah.
So if you're lost in your thoughts, you will not see the beauty around you. You will only see the repetitive conversation you have that finds fault with you mostly.
And first principle, anything you resist, don't like, or don't want, like, this is where I am in my life right now. This is where my career is. This is what I'm doing. And you take exception to it, it intensifies, and it actually precedes you into life. So you don't see the beauty around you.
It becomes the theme that you listen or look at life through. This complaint about yourself, not being enough, not doing enough, not having enough, when in fact, in this moment, Christiana, you are perfect.
And then third principle, anything you see without judging completes itself. So chances are at some point your vision went out. The whole thought process completed itself. If you see, oh, I'm thinking, suddenly your ability to see, to feel the air on your skin, to hear, to touch, all of it is returned to you. But I have a feeling that what one of the things you missed is your starting point sets you up for thinking, and I'll tell you how. If you ride in the morning, investing in this, not that, I'm going to go this way because that way is boring, you've set yourself up to do things reasonably.
Well, I also was caught by that your route was boring. If it's boring, you're not there for it. See, you're thinking that this isn't it, and when I get to work, that's where it'll be. If you're really there, you're going to be passing people, and people are always interesting. And you'll be passing flowers because it's spring, and you'll be passing green trees because they have that in Hamburg.
And of course, by the time people listen to this, it'll be early summer, but it's still the same.
It's the same thing.
Applies.
You can disregard your current circumstances, thinking something else will be better, and then you'll be normal. Or you can engage in your current circumstances as though that's the way it should be, that this is what you really want in your life, not what you think you want. So there's never satisfaction when you think this isn't it.
Now, I have a similar daily activity. I don't do it every day, but I often go for a walk many, many days a week. So I have a slightly different approach. If you're fortunate that you can take multiple routes to work, I don't go, oh, I don't want to go down by the river today. That would be boring. Or I don't want to do a hill today. That would be boring. I go toward the end of the driveway and I see which direction I'm drawn. What feels alive today? And then I go to see what's there. Why am I drawn here? I'm drawn here. Let's look, let's see, let's experience. And it's glorious. I've seen amazing thing. I love taking my iPhone because I love to take pictures of these serendipitous things I come across. I think bicycles could be really awesome because you can cover a lot of ground if you're there for it.
Wow, yeah.
You know, and one starts to, it gives you permission to recognize your perfection, Christiana. If you're going to work like, oh God, I got to go to work.
And if you're thinking that your current job isn't what you should be doing, then you rob yourself of the satisfaction of being alive. That in itself is a miracle. What?
This is very true for me at the moment because so many friends, they tell me, well, this is not really the thing you learned. You know, I learned to do astrology, and they took some lessons and sessions with me, and they said, well, you're so great at this, and now you don't do it anymore.
Well, I learned to be an actress. I don't do that anymore either.
Yeah.
It's fed into what I'm doing today, but it's not where my heart or my passion is. If you have a passion for that, do it. If you don't have a passion for it, why force yourself?
Yeah. And at the moment, I love to be in my shop. It gives me such a pleasure. I really love to have this interaction with my clients, and we have really a lot of fun. And so I think, well, perhaps I should do this because my friends tell me I should do astrology, but I don't really feel like doing it.
But I have a feeling that your friends are impressing upon you the idea of doing astrology because you're not totally settled in yourself. It's the reverse. You can say, oh, I'm doubting myself because my friends are telling me I'm maybe not doing the right thing. Your friends are your friends because they love you and want to support you, and they hear intuitively, geez, why am I not doing astrology anymore? Maybe I should be doing that. And out of their mouth goes, why aren't you doing astrology anymore?
Yeah.
You know, just like I was telling my friend the other day, no, we're not going to do it in person. Some part of me every once in a while has a conversation of, oh, in person might be the way to go. And then it gets verbalized by the world around me.
Great. Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity for you to get clear about what you're clear about.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Oh, it's fun being with Christiana today. Fun being with all of you. And if you enjoyed the podcast, please feel free to leave a review or share it with your friends. I find for me, the more I share the possibility of the things I enjoy with other people, the richer those things become. And we're going to be back next week. Next week's episode
is Your Life is a Masterpiece.
Oh, it is.
It certainly is. That would make you a master.
Mm.
Oh my. I don't know if we can handle that.
You can.
I
You
can.
handle it regularly.
Yes.
And we'll be back next week.
So come on back
And don't miss
being
here.